Well, I figure while I'm out here, I may as well give you another movie review. And it's another Jeff Goldblum film. Yes, on Netflix, I watched Silverado from 1985, I think it is. And you know what? I kind of have some mixed feelings about this. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I think in a bubble, it does a fine enough job. But you look back at it, and you maybe even compare it to something else. Something better like Unforgiven, and it just looks more like a fun popcorn type flick. But it even as fun goes, it's not as fun as, say, The Mask of Zorro. So anyways, movie starts off, we got John Glenn playing the non-character he typically plays. And is it John Glenn? Scott Glenn? One of them was a damn astronaut. Anyways, some guys try to get a jump on him while he's sleeping. Not like that. And he shoots them all. And one of them has some horse. It's brand or something, whatever. But he takes the horse with him. He goes off through the desert. Sees this guy kind of laying out there in the middle of the dunes. And he's starving. Gives him some water. Talks to him a bit. And it's Kevin Kline. Then Kevin Kline talks of how the guys he had ride with were traitors, stabbed him in the back, took all of his stuff, his horse, gun, whatever. He goes to, they get to a town, and he sees the guy, or he sees one of these guys. Kevin Kline does it. He's like, hey, that's my horse over there. I know that. He goes into a general store, buys the cheapest gun he can get for what money he has. And then he has like a shootout with the guy in long johns. And like one of the guy shoots at him and it like goes through the crush. It's a fun scene. I like it. But he hits him. And then he gets some of his stuff back and then eventually gets his hat and all of his stuff. And I enjoyed that, and I kind of wish the movie had more of this. I think this is directed by Lawrence Kasdan. Was that a writer of Raiders of the Lost Ark? I think so. And like that scene had the Indiana Jones has the gun, the guy swirling the sword kind of vibe. I wish there was more of that action in this movie, because soon along they pick up they go into a bar at this town that they're in, or one of these towns, and Danny Glover's there, black guy, obviously. Yeah, he's playing a black guy again. And the bartender doesn't want him served there. This causes some trouble. He fights him a bit. The sheriff of the town, John Cleese, both him and Kevin Kline in Fish Called Wanda. Anyways, he's like, hey, I don't need any trouble around here. Well, those two guys, Glenn, I'm just going to call him Glenn at this point. Glenn, Kevin Kline, they're like, hey, he didn't start it, and all that was like, no, well, regardless, there's going to be more trouble. I just want you out of town. Well, eventually, everybody gets chased out of town. But Danny Glover like sticks up for him, shoots at the guys that are chasing them, and now the three of them are kind of a posse. They're riding around, and they have to go to Silverado because Glenn's brother is in trouble there. He's set to be hung, I guess. And his brother is Kevin Costner. And this is a rather spry-looking Kevin Costner. Perhaps the youngest I've seen of him in a movie. I don't like his character in this. He's too much of a man-child. He's very kiddish. He's a squirrely guy. I don't even think that this is the right role for him, honestly. And so it's actually better that, not long after this, he plays a more serious tone to things, saying The Untouchables or Dances with Wolves. Well, this doesn't really work out so well for Kevin Costner, but they managed to get him out of jail. They break him out. The guys running Silverado used to be the guys in the posse that Kevin Kline was in. Brian Dennehy, he's the sheriff. He's got all these deputies. One of them, this guy that Quentin Tarantino's in there with, he played the Marshal on like ABC back in like '95. Jeff Fahey, seems to have some eyeliner on him. He's one of the deputies. They just kind of do this musical chairs of stuff. There'll be like, hey, we got to go help these this wagon train, and then some tough-looking hombres come and hassle them, and they hassle him back. But then Kevin Kline falls for Rosanna Arquette, but she has a guy, and he gets shot, and then like a second later, it's like, I guess we're hooking up now. They even mention this in the script, like, hey, the guy's not even cold yet. But then they forget about this shit and just deal with what's going on in Silverado. I much prefer Kevin Kline being with Linda Hunt's character, the sassy bartender. Kevin Kline is like running the poker game in the casino. They seem to actually have a little more chemistry or more scenes together or anything. There's also Jeff Goldblum there. He's come there to play some cards, and he looks like he's going to be with the good guys. He's I guess enjoying the services of Sergeant Murtaugh's sister, as she's a prostitute. But at the end of the movie, it's revealed that like Jeff Goldblum was bad. Like his whole thing is throwing knives or having a trick gun come out of his jacket sleeve. But Murtaugh kills him, and they just have these little scenes where it's like, well, I guess we got to get the group together. Then we're gonna have a shootout over here. Now we're gonna have a shootout over here. It's pretty forgettable. Like, okay, cattle stampede in a shootout. I mean, compare this to Mask of Zorro. Yeah, it's over, what, about 12 years later? Decidedly more exciting. It's just unfortunate this movie starts out pretty strong and then grows mundane. I actually saw this a few weeks ago and I fell asleep twice during it. I was just like, you know, I'll finish it later. And I was hesitant to even give you a review. Because then at the end of the movie, oh, Kevin Costner shows up, he's got dual guns, he's going like this all the time. He's doing this thing. He's going to get the drop on Jeff Fahey and another guy and go, bam, hey, I got him. And now the last one left is Brian Dennehy, and he's like, shining up his sheriff's badge. Like that's going to do him any good. And then he has a draw with Kevin Kline. Kevin Kline beats him. And then Glenn and Kevin Costner have to ride off to new adventures, of which there's never a sequel. Silverado, I give it 2.5 out of 4 stars.